People who lost their job due to this crisis. What is your story? I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. Last week they cut our hours from 40 to 32. I was just informed that tomorrow they are shutting down the hotel. Front desk, sales team, and bartenders are being laid off for the time being. Housekeeping will now work 24 hours a week for 2 weeks to deep clean the hotel. But who knows after that? F&B manager at a large hotel. GM and HR gave me a list of employees to call and inform them that they would all be furloughed. It was the hardest thing I've had to do in my life. I had to stop halfway through the list just to sit in my office and cry. I had to encourage grown men and women that everything would work out and be okay when I had no idea myself if or when it would be. I went to work this morning, worked my normal 10 hours. Then I was laid off at the end of the day. I cried again on the way home. My husband got laid off on Tuesday. He works about 3 minutes down the road from my work. He showed up at my work with tears in his eyes, apologizing to me for not doing good enough to be kept. He works at a car dealership as an auto technician, where they let go of 4 techs that day cause of decreasing business. They're letting go of more people this Saturday. My brother is a mechanic there, and is scared to lose his job too. They told my husband that when business picks back up, they might call and ask him to come work for them again. Thankfully, I work in the lab of a hospital, so my job is pretty secure. I keep telling my husband that we'll get through it, but I know it's taking a toll on Hi Monsieur. I haven't been laid off, but I answer for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and we are having so many calls where someone is thinking about killing themselves because they were laid off. It's absolutely awful. I have no answers for these people, and I wish I had the power to provide for them. My experience is pretty unique. In a nutshell, my wife and I live in New Zealand and had planned a 2-year working visa in Toronto. We were supposed to leave in April, so we had obviously already handed in our notices of resignation to our bosses. Long story short, Canada shut its borders and my boss has already hired my replacement. As a side note, they shut the borders on my birthday. Construction. The whole construction site was laid off, and with the way things are going, the company owner thinks it'll be at least a year before they consider hiring me back. Started 3 months ago, and that's at least 50 other people affected. Just for this site, the company had several other sites that they laid off employees to. I'm just lucky I'm still living with my parents, and Dad works as online IT for the general public, so he's nice and busy. Edit. Sign. Everyone and their dog is asking. I'm in Canada, Alberta. The site I was on was shut down by the owner. Beyond that, IDK, and thanks to the bunch of you that offered to help hire. I was kind of surprised at that. I got laid off today. I worked in an art studio. There were only a few of us and my boss owns the business. As it's a small business, she just couldn't afford to keep me employed anymore. Business just stopped. Normally we would have 10+ orders a day. Today we had 1. It sucks, but I understand completely, and she is the nicest boss. I live in the UK, and although the government are promising loans for small businesses, it's not helping realistic. By that I mean the help is going to come too late. I really hope her business manages to get through the next few months. It's going to be a difficult few months for a lot of us. I'm lucky I've got some savings and still live at home, so it could be so much worse. My mom works in vacation rentals doing housekeeping. She's 61, diabetic and has COPD, and lives in a state that has mandatory shutdown of all non-essential businesses. When she was informed they'd be laying people off, but also staying open, she told them she's afraid of getting coronavirus, and they laid her off so she could collect unemployment and continued to pay her bills while staying home safe. I haven't lost my job, but my small software company instituted 30% pay cut across the board. They say it'll be re-evaluated every month. Clients keep canceling or postponing projects, so I'm good this month. but could easily lose it next month. I'm just happy they decided to cut pay instead of fire 30% of the workforce, so everyone can keep their health coverage. That, and I'm not sure I wouldn't have been part of that 30%. If you are in the UK, the major supermarkets are on a recruitment drive with a fast turnaround of getting people in position. I know this isn't a story about losing a job, but hopefully this helps someone coming to this thread. I was laid off from my 5-year graphic design job, working for a screen printing and promotional products company. About half of our business involves schools, sports, and events. Obviously none of that is happening currently, so our business has stagnated. They are going to try to operate with a skeleton crew for the next couple months. The hope is to bring everyone back eventually, but I'm not optimistic. I was a bartender. The bars and restaurants were shut down. I was actually relieved because, not gonna lie, I was afraid of dealing with so many people and all the glasses people would have just kept coming to if the state hadn't shut us down. Yeah, I just got hired last week, but I think that my first work day isn't gonna happen. I worked at a specialty custom cake shop. My bosses are a brother and sister that own the business. They have been terrified of COVID-19 since it started in January and have been throwing around the idea of closing ever since then. When all the employees would panic and ask what would happen to us if you close, they would just say, "Don't worry about it. We will figure it out." Last week we got an email giving us 6 days notice that we will be closed for the following month, with partial pay. By the time we reached the final day, we would be open before the month of closing. They told us that we were actually being laid off. The partial pay for the month would be severance, and they are unsure of when they will open. They act like this is only temporary, but I know that they are refusing custom cake orders all the way until August. They also make no promises to be able to hire us back after they reopen later this year, since they may not be able to afford it. I'm a substitute teacher. If you are aware that most schools are closing if they haven't already, then that should explain why all subs are now effectively unemployed. It's unlikely that schools will return during this situation. So yes, thousands of people are out of work just from that alone. Subs don't make salary, so any employee who is hourly or paid by day now needs to scramble. Edit. Because so many people are unsure whether they should file for unemployment or not and are in a similar situation. Being a substitute or a different employee that was hourly, or a position that was cut due to our current circumstances. Please do. You absolutely can and should file for unemployment. It may take some time with the influx of applications, but this situation is what that government service is for. I extend my best wishes to everyone and their friends and families. I hope you all stay healthy and hold on to hope. Be smart and safe. I've always read 40% of Americans are something or one paycheck away from poverty, but fuck KK, this virus is really putting that into perspective. Stay strong and safe out there. Classical musician here. Every orchestra had to cancel concerts for the next 8 weeks. Unsure if any of the concerts will be rescheduled. Many orchestras are waiting to see if the Act of God clause will be applied. If that is the case, musicians will not be paid. Most summer orchestras are still programmed, but there is high chance will be shut down as well. Edit. In the US, I just finished my training as a flight attendant for a major European airline. It's been a dream of mine, and I have been putting my love and energy into this training for the past months. I'm in Cancun right now, and it's bittersweet because it's absolutely beautiful here. But at the same time, this was my last training flight. I'm now a fully trained flight attendant, and yet no one knows when me and my other new colleagues will actually be getting our work contract, since the airline industry is suffering a lot right now. I think I will cry when landing back in Frankfurt tonight, because I don't know when will be my next flight. But I will put on a brave face and genuine smile for our passengers. At least I will do my best. Not me, but my wife has been told that basically, we'll call you if we need you, and they don't really Need anyone tbh. She hasn't worked a minute since the 13th. And my sister was a bartender at an arcade. So she's totally fucked. She's been laid off with the promise of reinstatement when they reopen. I got a call congratulating me on getting a job 2 days before a hiring freeze went into place at the university I applied to. I never saw my contract. Nor do I have any work. Edit. Thank you for the gold. I wish it had been on a cheerier post. We're in this together and we'll get through it together. A step at a time. Look after one another. Be considerate. And be kind to yourselves. Here's hoping this blows over sooner rather than later.